Hi, everybody. It's me, Linda G. and Sterling.
Hello,
Welcome
good morning,
you.
everybody. Yeah,
Today is July 5th, 2021, and
it
we
is.
are a day off because, as you said, we think there was a lot of people on Zoom, and it kind of messed us up.
Yeah, I think we tried to log in 3 times and there was just so much buffering that we couldn't hear each other. So anyway, it's all good.
So, hello. Here we go. It's overcast here. What's it like down there?
It is. Yeah, it's very foggy and overcast. It should burn off by the afternoon, I think.
All right.
I like your new background. Very nice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this whole thing, no. I got a little wider one, 7 panels instead of the 4 I think I had before, because it really closes me in and it doesn't fall down all the time.
Important safety tip.
Remember, I was having that problem.
Yeah, crazy.
All right, so these are the questions from everyone. Thank you to your wife, Linda, and to Daniel for
Exactly.
typing them up and giving them to me, and you. So we don't have anything to do with them. They pick them out just randomly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, first question. From the other side, do Indigenous people whose graves have been found near residential schools in Canada have a message for us?
Yeah, and this was all over the news, obviously, the last week or two. You know, what I pick up on that is that this involves thousands of children and it goes over hundreds of years. So this is a very large scale issue, a very large scale crossing, if you will, for young children. But what I do get is that a lot of these children, these Indigenous, I guess they were Indian children, I think in Canada, what they've done is a lot of them have already come back. So they, unfortunately, they suffered a lot of abuse, but they've already come back to really help the world. So part of their plight was to pass through that experience and now come back and really be messengers of light now. So thousands, I'm picking up thousands of children were affected by this, unfortunately, but a lot of them are back. So that's the good news. We're here to help.
Was the deaths untoward or was it natural causes?
Oh no, these were not natural causes. A lot of them. Yeah, no, unfortunately, it's not a good situation. No.
That's
So.
interesting. Why would they just kill the children? That's so weird.
Well, reports are, and this was in the news. So, but I get this from them as well. Is that in a weird sort of a way, they were trying to take the Indian out of the children. It's a crazy thing.
Right. So sad.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
How will China and Iran ties affect the USA?
Well, this is going to be a struggle for, over the next decade here. So, not only is China favorable and aligned, but they also got ties with Iran, for example. So the U.S. has got to be very careful about developing a global diplomatic policy, which we will under Biden, to try to level the playing field. So yes, I guess it's a factor, but I do see over the next few years here, Biden enacting a much better global policy with other countries and the United Nations to keep everything in check. So, yeah.
So, and real quick, if I can add this in, we've gotten hit again by another Russian
hack.
And Biden's comment was, I told them, if we find out if you're tied in, I told Putin, if we find out you're tied into this, we too will react.
Right.
And are we going to react?
We will. You're going to hear about it very shortly.
Okay. Well, but I don't see them announcing it. There's a Twitter feed by a woman who's a reporter who said there's already some explosions at oil wells that are run by, computer. And she's saying these could be part of it, part of the retaliation.
No, I mean, what I see is much more covert activity, but it's like shutting down major utilities in Russia and affecting their infrastructure as opposed to explosions. So it'll have more economic effects than anything else. But we'll hear about it.
We'll hear about it soon. Will Australia get rid of the Morrison conservative government and get a more progressive government next federal election? Australia.
Yeah, and that's Scott Morrison, I think, is
Yeah.
who that is. Yeah, what I'm being told is that there'll be a much more moderate candidate in power. I guess it's out into next year. I think the next election is 2022. Yeah, and I do see a much more moderate candidate. Yeah.
Okay, great. What will happen next now that the current arrest of Alan Weisselberg, that's how I pronounce his name, resulted in his pleading innocent in the criminal case over the company's business dealings of the Trump organization?
I see a couple things happening over the next few weeks here. What I do see is that Alan Weisselberg will actually be negotiating behind the scenes with the federal government and the SCNY, but he's negotiating because he knows about where a lot of other bodies are buried. So right now, what's come out to the public is, the first 15 indictments or whatnot over tax evasion, right?
Right.
But there's a lot more. That's the tip of the iceberg.
Okay.
So you see Alan's team negotiating behind the scenes saying, look, if we could actually offer you up XYZ, all this other information, and can we somehow shield Alan and his family from it? So that there's negotiating going on right now. So
because
this is
they
just
were acting like I'm innocent and I ain't doing nothing. I ain't giving you nothing.
That's the public persona, right?
Okay.
That's the, you can't hurt me. And then, well, I guess you can. So,
well, also, his attorney's going out there saying this is nothing. People do this all the time. Really? If you and I did this, we'd be in jail.
Yeah, no, this is all just this is PR. This is minimizing the effect of all the bombshells, if you will, going off. But I do see a lot of backroom negotiations going on saying, look, if you think this is bad, there's a lot of other stuff we could lay tracks to, but in a negotiation, can you protect our family?
Okay. Okay. Will the U.S. continue to deteriorate as a democracy? How likely is it that we will become an autocracy?
Autocracy.
Autocracy. Sorry.
That's all right. No, it's not going to happen. I mean, it didn't happen under 45. It's not going to happen. The nation's much stronger than that. So it's not going to happen. But what this is a wake-up call. You and I have talked about this for a lot of people in the nation. Can't take everything for granted anymore. There are very prominent people we know that didn't vote in a lot of elections. You can't do that stuff anymore. You got to everybody's got to take action. So it's not going to come out of autocracy, no.
Okay. I didn't feel that either, but there are people threatening a civil war. What will become of the threat? They're getting their muskets and heading out now.
Yeah. No, I mean, so we're going to see a lot of swells of violence here and there. It's going to continue on for a while. They're going to be mostly focused on what I call city centers. So, centers of certain cities, you're going to see some uprising and riots. What I do see is the military making very quick action of a lot of these things. So our military will get involved to shut things down. So, I mean, we're going to see spots of unrest and riots, but it'll get shut down.
Isn't that amazing how by a traffic, they ran out of gas, 11 heavily armed men, probably heading to someplace to start trouble. But by the grace of God, they got taken down.
They certainly weren't going to McDonald's.
No. Ooh, now you got me hungry. Okay. Are the Supreme Court justices getting along?
Yes. What's interesting is what I get on that, better than you think. So while they do see very different ways in which, the country should be run, they seem to be much more collaborative behind the scenes than people give them credit for. And although I know we just saw a little bit of an upheaval with that last Supreme Court decision regarding voting rights, interestingly enough, I do see them coming back around. I do see, for example, the For the People Act getting passed into 2022, and we'll get Supreme Court support for that. So short answer, I guess, is they're working collaboratively behind the scenes, and they're actually end up doing the right thing.
Okay, good. Is Bart going to get away with all of a sudden being the good guy?
Yeah. No, here's another guy that is trying to play the right kind of public persona. He's trying to say, look, who, me, what, I didn't know anything. What I do see around Barr is that there's something coming back around for him in regards to how he covered up the Mueller report. And I pick up something around obstruction of justice around 45. So there's something, I see two big things around Barr, and for entertainment purposes only.
Right.
I see an obstruction of justice, like a major thing he gets involved in here. And then something about how he held the Mueller report, he's going to get taken down for as well, like all the redaction and so.
And he lied.
Yeah.
Is there a big bust in the works in regards to human trafficking?
Yes, it's actually been ongoing for a few years now with the federal government, the FBI is what I get on that. But we're not going to, it's not going to see the light of day in the public in terms of what's going on till towards the end of this year. Okay. So there's a sequence of events I feel it's going to take place before it all gets made public. Yeah.
There was just a big article I read on the guy who started QAnon. Mm-hmm. He just got thrown in jail. He had done all kinds of trafficking, etc.
Right.
And it's so funny. QAnon is the ones who say, Hillary Clinton and Pizzagate, and yet their person that started this was doing this.
Yeah, that's part of the MO, as you know, right? A lot of those individuals that are doing those activities, they're the first to disclaim those activities, right?
Right.
To try to say, don't look here or look over there. So
that's what Trump does too.
Right.
Do aliens who visit Earth also join us in the same afterlife? Oh, yeah. Do the aliens who visit Earth also join us in the same afterlife?
Yeah, they do, because they can transition around heaven and the alternate universe as well, just like we can. And in fact, if you were down here on Earth and working hand in hand with ETs, and some of us are, they'll definitely be around you when you're on the other side. Absolutely. Yeah.
Occasionally, when I read people, I can tell that they came from another planet. It's the weirdest hit that I get.
Many people have.
Yeah. Do we originate from aliens?
Yeah, that dovetails that last question. That many people on this planet are starseeds, started out from other galaxies as starseeds. Other people start out as more what I'll call loving spirit energy. But there's a combination of that, sure.
Will the horrible heat waves become the new normal over the next few years?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's going to take at least 5 years for a lot of governments, a lot of world powers to kind of get green technology under control and to try to start shift all that. So we're the less fossil fuel and more electrified cars and even airplanes eventually. But so it's going to be around for a while till we start to get our handle on green technology. Yeah.
Did Mark Burnett, producer of The Apprentice, play a role in getting Trump into office? If so, will he be held accountable?
First off, I don't see him being held accountable, but what I do see is that, unfortunately or fortunately, there were certain bits of information and footage and video that would have put a whole different perspective on 45 that were held back.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
By his production company. So, it's kind of, guilt by not doing the right thing. So he's not going to be held accountable, but not a good situation. Yeah.
Right. The longest strike in U.S. history is the Spectrum cable technicians against Charter Communication. Do you see the outcome of what will happen with the technicians who've been out of work for the past 4 years?
Yeah, that is like the longest strike in U.S. history. Charter Communications, Spectrum. By the end of this year, that's all going to get cleaned up and cleared up. And I do see a lot of the Biden administration getting involved and kind of backing the union. So, what that's all about is, I think what was going on there was they're trying to move the union away from union-sponsored healthcare and 401ks over to 401k health plans. And Yeah. And so anyway, the Biden administration is going to work hard to kind of reinstate the prominence of the union, and that's going to help with all the negotiations. So by the end of this year, looks like a lot is going to get cleaned up.
That's
Mhm.
good. Will the UK ever join the EU again? I thought it was in the EU. No, it stepped out. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It will, but more likely it's like not till 2030. So it's going to take a while for everything to kind of resettle out and come back around again. So not any faster than 2030, but right about 2030 it'll come back.
Okay. When will the food industry stop all the processed food and sugars put in the food in order to make it palpable?
As soon as it's not profitable, but whoever asked that question, I was looking for a time frame. It's at least 4 to 5 years here before that starts to happen.
Right.
But it's the buying public that's voting with their pocketbook.
There you go.
So as long as they're buying Twinkies and donuts and Oreos as part of the 4 food groups, it's not going to change. But as soon as the public starts voting towards more organic and healthy food, all these for-profit companies will shift as well.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
How will adopting green energy affect geopolitics around the world?
So the Paris Accord is a very important part of that, and we're kind of reestablished with that. What I get on that is that there's going to be a really large collaboration among a lot of world nations around green technology, but some countries will be better, let's say, at battery technology.
Okay.
Some will be better at photovoltaic solar technology. So there'll be a collaboration. So I guess the answer to that question is, as the entire world moves towards green energy, there'll be better collaboration because each country will have a little bit more of a specialization. Yeah.
What is going on with the earth opening up in different parts of Mexico?
These are primarily sinkholes. So this is like a natural, it's like a natural evolution of the earth in that area. And it looks like there's a lot of water that fills them in after they open up. So the answer is this is like a geophysical phenomenon that's creating sinkholes. Yeah.
Interesting. What do your guys say about quantum physics? Is this closer to explaining the universe and consciousness?
Well, geophysics and geomechanics are really the same thing, but while geophysics, geomechanics explains a lot that has to do with everything, the way atoms and a lot of atomic particles interact with each other, it doesn't explain things like wormholes and dark matter. So the answer to that question is that it certainly brings us very far along the way, but over the next number of years to decade, we're going to get much more information that will supplant our knowledge of quantum physics and quantum mechanics.
Cool.
In 10 words or less.
What do your guys, okay, how is Trump feeling now that Trump org has been indicted, and will the Trump family lose their wealth as a result of these charges if found guilty?
Yeah, I mean, what we're seeing is a sometimes slow and now more rapid erosion of a lot of the financial platform that family had. So as we move forward here, that financial platform, a lot of erosion in it and a loss of credibility worldwide for that family, so that no one will want to put their nameplate on buildings. There won't be, licensing income. It's a backslide. So we're witnessing a backslide here of a loss of wealth, and couldn't happen to a nicer family.
For entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, entertainment purposes only.
People are speculating something big will happen in July. Could it be aliens? Could have something completely different. Wait. People are speculating something big will happen in July. Could be aliens, could be something completely different. Are you seeing anything unusual or different creating quite a stir in July?
No, I don't see any huge, monumental Earth effect or ET unveiling or anything of that nature that's happening in July. I don't see that. within the next number of years, we'll see a lot of exposure to ETs. We will, but that's nothing happening in July per se, or no other big Earth event in July that I see. What do you get anything on that?
Yeah, well, you had brought up that you saw another
Earthquake.
virus
What's that?
or
Oh,
a
virus.
virus. So this particular strand that you're talking about, I believe is already here.
Oh, it's completely here. The Delta
What you
variant.
were talking about. The good news is I talked to a friend who's both her daughter and the boyfriend were vaccinated, and the county has put them on lockdown, and but they're asymptomatic, so that's good news. So apparently, go ahead.
And I guess I interpreted that question maybe a little differently because we had talked about the Delta variant. Yeah, it's already here, it's spreading across.
That's what you were seeing. You talked about that.
Yeah, and I guess maybe I thought that question was about something different, like ET showing themselves or something like that.
Well, I think that it's going to explode a little bit, but it feels like it's in the red states. That could be the oh no, well, here we go again, that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, it's leading to much more conservative approaches, like Los Angeles. Now you have to wear a mask indoor dining. Parts of Australia have been shutting down. Certain states are shutting down. I think it's spreading like wildfire. Is it Arkansas right now?
Oh,
So
no.
right, states where a very low vaccination rates, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah. So, and the ones who are vaccinated can still get it, but they don't tend to get real sick, or if sick at all. Okay, if everything is in divine order, what really is the purpose of prayer? How and why does prayer change the course of events? If everything in life is divine order, what really is the purpose of prayer?
Interesting construct of a question. Well, so divine order references the construct of everything, the universe, the earth, the way everything goes together. What prayer does is it focuses energy, it focuses our spiritual energy and the energy of those on the other side so that we can manifest our purpose better and move forward in life more efficiently. So that question, divine order, is certainly there, and that's how the universe fits together and the one force in God. And then prayer helps accelerate you on your life path by focusing energy.
And let me tell you, I have a prayer meeting every Tuesday, and I am getting so much feedback of the miracles that have happened. It's interesting when you gather more than one. And
Right.
the other thing is, as humans, as one of the most important things in this life is free will. So yeah, there may be an order, but you still have free will. So certain challenges could come to you. How you deal with it is up to you.
Yeah, and let me put my 2 cents here around free will, because it comes up all the time with people. Free will doesn't mean you completely change your life path, but what it does is free will modifies and manages 2 major elements. It manages your acceleration or deacceleration through your life path, and also can attenuate or accentuate the scale at which you achieve your life path. So do you affect 1,000 people or 1,000,000 people or 10 million people? Do you achieve your goals in 4 months, 4 years, or 40 years? So free will tends to be, and I just got a cold chill when I just said that, it's interesting, is that free will tends to modulate how much maybe you zigzag on your life path.
Okay. Okay, so is the coming pole shift going to create natural disasters of a massive scale?
We've heard this question before, but it's important to note that when people talk about Earth poles, there's what they call geographical Earth poles, which is where all the countries sit around the globe. The geographical poles are not shifting, but there are magnetic poles. Those are shifting, and the magnetic poles control things like what kind of sun rays come to the Earth, and maybe the prevalence of cancer, and actually can change weather patterns. So the answer to that question is yes, the magnetic poles are shifting. It's not necessarily going to create huge disasters, but we're going to experience more hurricanes and floods and droughts. All those are with us right now. So those will continue on. Yeah.
What area of the US will become more populated as we see more weather changes and Earth changes?
Really, no particular one area. It's going to be pretty well spread out. So we're going to, because every part of the globe and the US is going to experience some kind of a challenge. Now, it's not something that we can't manage, but it won't mean that any one area gets more populous than the other. It looks pretty well spread out to me.
Okay. Will Australia be okay with this new Delta strain?
Yes, just within a few short months here, whether it's 2 or 3 months, it's going to start to feel much better in Australia. And I always saw that by August, by the end of summer, that we've had 4 major vaccine manufacturers cranking out vaccines at several 100 million doses apiece that would really start to move the world towards a herd immunity. So yeah, Australia is going to get there. They're going to be okay.
Will Greg Abbott be reelected as Texas governor in 2022?
I don't see it.
I
But
see blue.
Yeah,
I saw blue.
I see a much more moderate male candidate and also a very strong female candidate. So whoever ends up in there looks like it's much more moderate. It's not Abbott. No.
Okay, good.
No.
Can you, do you see us being able to stop climate change and reverse it?
A lot of common themes throughout these questions. Yeah, I mean, this goes back to the whole green energy, green technology, Paris Accord. Yes, we'll be able to reverse it because I see very substantive things happening between a lot of the world's nations over the next 5-year period here, very significant. And I think it looks like Biden administration will help lead a lot of those. So yeah, we're going to be able to turn it around. Yeah.
I been listening to this speaker and he's talking about Rome and what happened to Rome. And part of it was they stopped having rain. There's the Mediterranean just stopped. I guess, even Africa with Egypt and stuff. Sure. So they kept praying to their gods and nothing was happening. That's kind of when Christianity started to happen and where they just said, well, maybe we'll go this way. But what's interesting is there was 2 plagues. One was smallpox based on what they said. And the second one, which wasn't that further down the road, they don't know what it was, but it wiped out a good 60%. So it's interesting during these terrible times how these plagues start off. So anyway, I just want to mention that.
Yeah, good history lesson.
Do you see anything coming up next week?
Yeah, I do see more information coming on the public regarding Alan Weisselberg and his family and those charges. I do see more movement around shutting down, unfortunately, condominium complexes in Miami, what we saw down there. It looks like it's going to get more widespread. I do see much more aggressive movement around the Nancy Pelosi January 6th commission. Looks like they might even, in fact, get another GOP on the committee. So I think there's something happening there. Nancy's going to try to get maybe another GOP member on the committee. And actually continuing, unfortunately, like wildfires across the US, especially California, for the next 2-month period here, California wildfires. So.
Wow. While you were talking, I don't know why, I'm just going to say this out loud. I saw, I think it's military or somebody. So I don't know if this is the United States with guns running. So I don't know if someone's going to try something or what's going on, but I saw guns, shooting and a bunch of drama. That's what I just saw. Next week. Okay. Do you have any information that your guides want to share?
Yes, the message this week is be vigilant because most everybody down here is a light worker and they agree to be down here during this time period. I've talked about this, but what they're reinforcing for me is over the next 3 decades from now up through 2050, this is a time the earth is really going to go through a metamorphosis. Yes. So this next 3 decades, the next 30 years, very important time period for politics, earth change, spirituality, thinning of the veil. So the reinforcement is, thanks for coming down here to help and be vigilant. The next 30 years are important.
And, that's my purpose, your purpose. We're supposed to be pointing the direction. hey, take care of yourself and make sure you're doing this.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
well, my friend, this was lovely.
All right, good getting together, and glad we had a great 4th of July holiday and a safe
Yeah.
one.
What did you guys do? Did you just chillax?
Yeah, there was a lot of fireworks around here, right? So big spectaculars going on. So you didn't have to go very far to see it all.
Oh, I thought you meant because, here where I live, it's banned, and yet I could hear fireworks going off in the neighborhood. And I worried,
Yeah. And then CNN was running, what was it, the 4th in America last night, something of that
Oh, okay.
nature. And they were going around the country, but one of the places was right up over here, over the hill from us. They had a big concert running live on CNN. So
Oh,
a
cool.
lot going on, kind of around the area.
Okay. All right,
By
my
the way,
friend.
I always wanted to say really quickly, if anyone needs to reach me for a booking, it's just sterlingpsychicmedium.com.
Right. And I put that in the box below.
Yeah, and I know, like, if you watch this on an Apple TV platform, like, you won't see the notes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So if you're on a mobile phone or mobile device, you'll see the notes. Apple TV, you won't see it. And
Oh,
other
no.
types of streaming boxes, yeah.
Wow. Who knew?
I was told
And
that by a
also,
number
may
of
I
people.
mention that Sterling and I are going every other weekend. So next Sunday, you won't see him, but the Sunday after.
But interestingly enough, next Sunday, July 11th, we're doing Dead Famous with
Oh,
Andrea.
that's right. And you'll be,
So
you'll be
we actually
connected
are
with,
together.
we'll be
We
together,
are
but a
together.
different, yeah.
And I'll
All
be
right,
doing
Mike.
a show on my channel next Sunday as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
Very
guys.
good.
Thank you. Ciao.